the Hulk in those moments too. It's just difficult to get a ton of value, but you absolutely can, as they are going to start Shikigami here on the high ground. Similar strategies we've seen from a lot of these pro teams, and we will begin this game.
Yeah, immediately just controlling this high ground, but it's Wolverine kidnapped onto Craze, although he was pushed off by what looks like to be the Invisible Woman on Shikigami's side, so they're keeping their team healthy right now, playing it slow.
Try to get the push up to get back on high ground, but unfortunately unable to do so, as Shikigami does. Craze immediately going to take out Luca, turning that around, as I didn't think it was going to go in their favor. Walls are up. Wolverine about to pop passive. There goes the passive. Well done here by the side of Shikigami on this first fight.
Yeah, Shikigami playing it well. This was the difficulty, I feel like, yesterday for Nightmare. Maybe a little bit off page with Luca, you know, sometimes going in a bit too deep or not having the support. And there it is again. Unfortunately, Luca doesn't have the backup on the high ground, resulting in him getting first blooded.
And we begin the next fight in the sky. Ultimate advantage on the side of Nightmare, where Loki roughly there already. Loki has the power to get that ultimate back so fast. And Wolverine tries to get the tackle. Gonna be pocketed by the Magneto, but no value just yet. Into the sky we go as the invisible boundary gets popped on the side of Nightmare. The fight begins on both sides now, and ultimates are being used. Bucky not able to find anyone just yet, and there comes the Loki copy, another invisible boundary. And they are going to stall this thing, as no one has found any value yet. Psych, I lied, as Millennia going to take out two. Pizza Demon going to drop Craze May as well.
Yeah, Nightmare's composition ending up to be a bit stronger, right? Making sure that Wolverine is picked instead of Bucky in this case for Shikigami. You thought that maybe in terms of ultimate charge, they played it well with Dink's delayed ultimate on Loki copy. But in this case, obviously the Wolverine's damage was too much, even with the invisible boundary.
Yep, and we are going to have one more fight here. Great teleport to give them a chance at taking this. And the Bucky launches as Ken looks for somebody. Yep, gonna reset off the clones. Mace gonna pick up Scatter. There goes A's as well. And Kendrick gonna get another as they press on to point two.
Yeah, ultimate advantage in their favor. It seems like Shikigami just try to go quickly with that Doctor Strange, right, just to get into the point fast. Unfortunately for them, didn't pan out. Maybe didn't get that off that strangling prison, or just in terms of ultimate advantage for Nightmare, they were able to play that super well. So now 4 minutes moving under the streets phase of Midtown. At the moment, Nightmare looked to be in a good spot, but Shikigami, they can get the momentum back off of some good ults.
Yeah, this is a very difficult point to push through, at least in terms of this map, right? This choke right here at the bottom where you can just absolutely respawn and retake as fast as possible. Millennia looking for some sort of angle, and there's the dash right into the backline. Scatter in a dangerous position. Amadian gonna drop on the top side, start spinning to win to gain that ulti charge 99% again as Daze tries to find a pick. Amadian taking out Mace early, and there goes two as Daze takes out Kendrick, and the numbers are now in Shikigami's favor as they're gonna push them back towards spawn.
Yeah, I just love how this comp plays, right? It's super simple for Shikigami. Bubble up Amadian, make sure he can get the blasters off while everybody else just kind of follows through. Able to win that fight without any ultimates used is massive for them moving forwards.
Yeah, well done across the board there for Shikigami, retaking obviously the momentum not in their favor. Luca dives in, gets pulled back towards the crystals. Well done there by Pizza, as they are going to pop Invis as well inside of Loki. Nice drop from Millennia, taking out Craze Mate.
The legendary over the top side to Amadian is blasting down into it. Can they find even more? It looks like Shikigami's holding on. It looked like Nightmare was sort of in a good spot. Maybe they still are with that pick off on Amadian. And if they play around this choke point, find the picks, and they do so. Kendrick, nice shots, and the team rebounds well.
Yeah, Kendrick did a really good job. I believe was SVP on both maps last time, as we are going to start the Art of the Dangerous. Kendrick looking for more, unfortunately not able to do anything. Luca dives in to try to provide some support. The crystals are popped. Luca using that shield to retake, as Venom going to dive back out and buy some time. The sheer amount of HP that Venom can generate is obscene, but no, not going to matter as he does fall early. Millennia going to take out Craze to even out the numbers, and they are going to continue as Millennia gets two, and Mace follows up to clean up the last, as we are going to potentially shove this thing into point two.
And this just proves why you want to play a lot more Wolverine than Bucky, or even just both in this case, right? Millennia able to get so much work done with the last stand, just following up his team. Luca obviously getting picked first was not great, but Millennia comes back in with such a massive ultimate. Also off these Groot walls, you mentioned how it's a scratching post for him. So Millennia doing so much with the kidnap to start it off here too.
Yeah, it's tough to want to run the group comp if you're going to keep Wolverine on the fight. Obviously, a good invis, which these players clearly are. Kendrick getting 2, Mace getting 3, Millennia popping in here as Nightmare, just putting on a masterclass on how to clean up these team fights and shoving them back into the spawn again.
3 minutes left to go now. Kraken Impact also available for Ken. So we'll see if Shikigami and both of their Strategist ultimates can counter it on their side. They've got so many coming up. Also, Kraz on the thing now to try to mix it up, maybe deal, or maybe go for harder engages onto Millennia on the backside. That would be good for the side, but a nice hook to start it off on a Kendrick, force him in a bit of a weird spot, and force Crystals out early.
Yeah, that's a good start for them, as you're saying early on. Kendrick does have ult ready to rock. Pizza and Mace as well, as the ults are virtually even on both sides. But we'll see who can utilize it a little more effectively. This turn is difficult. And here comes the Magneto, looking to dunk that meatball. No value, though. Great shielding. And here comes Kendrick on the follow-up. They are trying to look for more. The clones are going to fall. Clones are unaffected by these ultimates, allowing him to reset. And here comes the return from Daze, trying to get another pick back, and does turn it on Kendrick, winning that Bucky battle, and is going to press on to the rest of the team.
Yeah, that was a great counter engage around the corner, and a Venom ultimate a bit late there from Luca. But maybe this last stand could be big with the ultimate, goes back into the backline, but everybody's sustaining over here. A lot of ults committed right now from Nightmare. They need to win right here and now. Mace able to get a Madian is huge, but do they have the support around this payload to continue moving forward without Luca?
Yeah, it looks like things have now slowed back up to virtually where they were prior to the pops of all those ultimates. No movement of the cart just yet. Madian holding on the backside. There goes the dive by both the Wolverine and Luca. And Millennia gonna fall. Good pick there by Madian, who's immediately gonna dive back into the backline. Gets pushed away by Invis to slow that pace up 65% towards their next ultimate. Madian just generating right now with 60 seconds on the clock.
Playing it slow at the moment. Right, a lot of ultimates used, like you mentioned the previous fight, but we're already back. Amadi now with the bubble. Goes in early with the blasters. Really does so much damage consistently. Also with the support of the thing is nice to turn into sort of mini-boss, but immediate crystals used on the defensive side to hold. And then here comes the Meteor M into the boundary.
I really like the change in comp here, as Craze is going to change up into the thing, so Wolverine gets a little less value, holding on to the point for one last take. Mace with a good pick on Daze early. That is, almost dunks it on him out of the sky, but dodge rolls away to get that iframe to stay alive. The thing going to clobber the backline, but no value in terms of picks just yet on the KO front. There goes the push. Well done by Kendrick, taking out Scatter. And once again, they're on the offensive, shoving towards point 3.
You know, Armed and Dangerous here now onto the back line. What are you going to do against this? Maybe you can counter it, but the heals are there. The support is there. You're in the spawn to hide for a second. You get Invisible Woman shield. You can maybe touch with no time left and no Vanguards here. How are you going to sustain? You're trying to pull them off the objective. You're back on the Venom to able to touch. But with Wolverine fully charged up on the objective, it's so hard to live. Can Daze pop off here? Maybe he can. Millennia goes down. The hooks are also back. But how much damage is coming through from Nightmare? There's a Spider-Man back into the fight. The boot off the map. Daze goes flying. You're missing 2 members on your team now, but you're still sustaining somehow. Legendary from the sky. And Madian finds one. Can he find any more? Luca has the follow-up as well. But it's so back and forth. And Kraz is just standing on the thing right now, Shiv. Just able to stall on this payload for so long.
Yeah, this has been an insane back and forth fight. They switch over on the side of Kendrick over to the Spider-Man to get the touch back, and here comes the pop from Invisible Boundary, still holding on the defensive side. Everybody back up now. Rockets on here for the res to try to buy space. Luca with a nice pick on Dinks, and turned right back around as Daze takes out Kendrick. There's that res. Oh my good, Daze gonna take on Millennia again, and Baser. Mace goes down. Daze is on a 3-piece, soon to be 4, and yes, just like that. They are going to hold up on the final point.
Holy crap. That might be the most insane round I've seen in this game ever. That was crazy. Dude, unsung hero, or not, maybe not unsung in this case. You know, you sure saying his name out loud. Daze. Dude, I mean, held that for so long, stopped the snowball that Kendrick was trying to do into the spawn, dude. Like, he was just getting a huge hook to stop that Kraken Impact from getting more value, and then just came back with his own, with Kraz delaying the objective. Whoa.
That was a
I don't know.
masterclass on a retake, man. I thought it was over for him, if I'm being honest. They switched up on the side of Nightmare to get back to point, but then just out of nowhere, Shikigami just wasn't losing anybody. Great pop there by Ricky on the backside and just held the team up with that invisible boundary, and then just an insane turnaround of plays from Daze, getting a 4-piece. I saw some picks there from Scatter as well. Just a really well done. Craze switching over to the thing I think helped a lot, just shutting down that Wolverine, and they ended up, I believe, switching off Wolverine just because they wasn't getting as much value as he was off the start.
Yeah, wonder, I mean, why do you think that is necessarily then, Shib? Why does the thing kind of potentially shut down Wolverine a little bit more than other Vanguards, right? Because,
sure,
you know, obviously, yeah.
He can't be tackled, right? Like, he can't be pulled back towards the team. So yes, Wolverine is still a pain, but he's able to brawl that back, and the displacement from Wolverine is honestly his value. If you're able to pull back in towards your team, just during that animation of you pulling him alone, he's already losing a ton of HP, right? They're already losing a ton of HP on the way back. But with the thing, you can at least brawl back, dash back, get a 200 shield at any moment that you're in danger, but he can never displace you, and that makes it a lot more difficult to get value as Wolverine.
A great point. I mean, it seems like it's doing a good job countering it. In fact, so much so that they've swapped off of it and swapped back to Star-Lord, whereas Mace opens it up onto a Madian. Nice find from them, and also Nightmare put themselves in a good spot. Very aggressive, I think, comparatively defensively to how Shikigami played this, right, Shib?
Yeah, I mean, well, real quick, I got to shout out Mace. He does an incredible job on these poke heroes with his Doctor Strange and his Magneto here. That was a great pick early. But yeah, I mean, I do like the way these teams are playing together right now. We've been seeing a lot of teams holding second tier here, but it seems like Nightmare elects to just let the DPS own that space and let their front line hold the bottom side. Daze gonna start pressing into Luca. Does get a pick there as Daze is gonna put those numbers back on the attack's favor. No res potential here. Ooh, Baser. Good pull. Gorgeous right there, Baser. Even out the numbers again as we are going to start turning this corner. And here comes the legendary. Will there be value? Baser keeping him healed up. That's all that matters in this moment, is making sure Star-Lord can continue to fight. But there are going to pop some strategist ultimates. And Ricky going to keep their team in it. Craze going to take out Mace during ult. And that's the power of Groot when Magneto is using that ultimate.
Yeah, it's been tough for Nightmare's strategist to build up towards ultimate, save the team, but a barrier comes back late. Mace got killed or taken out by Groot ultimate, or Groot melees. Shikigami trying to walk forward even without a Madian, but they've got the Kraken impact downrange. We've seen Daze do it before. It's a counter Kraken impact on their side, but Daze takes the final blow off of some nice Invisible Woman play. It's just able to get so many resets, just get so much damage downrange, and without your own Winter Soldier, it's going to be super hard for Nightmare to hold on.
Yeah, a lot of pressure here. They are finding their footing. Well done here by Shikigami to press in, but not sure if it's going to be enough on this fight. I don't believe so. Daze goes down. Numbers back in the side of Nightmare as we will proceed with this fight. No ultimates up beside. Shikigami could have a huge Craze main ulti here with the Groot. Will they find a strangling prison? Ooh. That's a tough loss right there.
Yeah, it's a bit far. Millennia over the top left, too. Able to beam down the back line, and unfortunately for Kraz, yeah, that's a wasted ultimate. Now you have a minute and 30 left. They thought they could close it out. Nice recontest there from Shib, from Nightmare. I mean, they were able to deal with Kraz, who I'm assuming got hooked by Winter Soldier, and then just tried to go for a deep strangling prison. But you don't have a lot of ultimates for this upcoming fight on both sides. It could go either way with a minute left.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate it did get shut down trying to make the play there with Craze. I like the idea of Groot. Unfortunately, just a lot of CC on the opposition, shutting that down early, and some shields out there, obviously, with Mace. Tried to find a way to work that in and was not able to do so. Trying to get a Galactic Legend, 45% here on the side of Nightmare, as Shikigami's probably starting to make sure they're playing a little safer, grouping up, trying to win that early pick. Luca does get picked. Dave's going to get a pick. They're going to even that out again and use the invisible boundary to keep both teams in the fight right on point.
They're fighting towards the point. Kraken impact available. Here comes the Magnetos on both sides. Into the sky. Meteor and Boundary. All the ultimates popped. Unfortunately, Daze hitting the building. Not going to be able to get a reset off of it, but both Boundaries out. Both teams kind of staying in their lane. Ultimates about to dissipate. And Kendrick on the other side gets the bubble. Impact. Legendary on the to help him as well for Millennia. Takes down a Madian. Even more to fall with 20 seconds. Shikigami sent all the way back home.
Yeah, Nightmare really showcasing their team synergy. Played it safe, played it slow. A lot of space created there by the Vanguards and immediately capitalized after the fact as they are up again in ultimates with 3 seconds on the clock. That should do it.
Wait, they did touch, though. I mean, maybe Amadian came back through Kraz onto Venom. Or against Ultimates, though, so yeah, you're right. It's going to be tough. Also, Crystal's popped here. Unless somebody hard thieves. I don't know. Nightmare, can they close it out right here? And now Shikigami's holding on.
Odds are stacked in their favor, but we all do love an underdog story as we begin to proceed. There comes the ultimate from Venom. Really well done there. Generating its, oh my goodness, Millennium with a great follow-up on the Star-Lord after the Venom ult, and that's going to sweep the whole team, and that should call game one.
Whew. I mean, if that was game number one, who knows what's in store for us later down the line. You know, for the side of Nightmare, they're able to first hold after, you know, what looked to be a bit of a shaky start, right? With Luca, you know, unfortunately getting taken out early on. But, you know, Nightmare, in terms of their overall play style, seems to be just let Luca go in, go ham, and then try to follow him up. Obviously, with Millennia playing very well on that Star-Lord towards the second half of it after playing Wolverine for so long. To make that switch mid-series is huge.
Yeah, I mean, 20 final hits from Millennia, like you're saying, following up. Venom does a great job of drawing attention and dealing a ton of damage, especially with ult up. 50% of HP from every target, so you can't be afraid to initiate. You begin with your right click, you link everybody, you use that ult to stun them up and allow the right click to pop, and at that point, all you have to do is have a Star-Lord get in there, start spin to win, and immediately the team will fall, and it was showcase how strong that could be right there.
Yeah, I think Mace had some really well-timed bubbles the whole... Shit. One of the worst characters in the game, you doofus, dude. What are you saying right now, man?
What do you mean? With Mantis still one shots backline. You can make
you're
it
right.
happen.
You're right. All right, never mind. My bad.
No, but I do agree. It's very difficult to get a lot of value with. But there's a chance with Mantis, you know, a small chance with Mantis.
Oh, yeah, you're right, for sure. I mean, that damage boost can work very well for that hero, and then also for, you know, the likes of Star-Lord and stuff. Just we saw earlier with damage boost and the bubbles come through, but immediately Luca displacing the back line, giving a lot of space for Nightmare on their attack.
And here we go with the first fight. Oh, nice pull there. Incredible pull from Kendrick. Taking out Amadian out of the sky. And you love to see that start as Nightmare are going to get a lot of pressure in and own this space. Just a ton of like raw damage off the rip. Throwing around these corners. Usually you see a battle around that corner for one or two fights. But no, these teams have just been following up after a pick. Sending the train in and keeping the train rolling as Mace is going to take out Daze.
Great work from the Rex Club. Nobody else here now. I mean, to throw out a copy boundary. Shikigami trying to still fight this. It might be ill-advised, however. They have, what, 3, 4 people here? I think it's only 3. So now aggressive boundary goes through with the, defensive boundary from Ricky's side. So Shikigami still trying to win this, and Kendrick didn't actually get total value out of the ultimate as it's going to get fully reset, as well as Mace throwing out the Meteor M to no eliminations just yet necessarily. So Kendrick follows up on the Kraz. That's a nice final blow to get, but a lot of commitment from Shikigami. They're going to need to find a final blow right now if they want a chance to hold at the moment.
Wait, did I just see Kendrick attempt to stuff that? I think he just tried to stuff the ult, which would have been insane on Bucky. He thought he got enough HP from abilities to make it so he could live through it, but unfortunately not able to do it. Would have loved to see it. Luca taking this space here. There goes 3, and they are going to, they should win this fight now. 4 fall as Dinks falls as well. Really well done here by Nightmare, keeping that pressure up with 4 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, at first for Shikigami's side, you know, I think like, okay, why you want to commit Loki ultimate? Why do you want to commit you know, Invisible Woman ult when you're losing a fight such as that? But, you know, for Shikigami, they're already close to another ultimate again on both of their strategist players, right? Even though they lost that point, and it was a weird ultimate trade for them. So they put themselves in a decent spot in the street space at the very least from earlier.
Nice work there by Millennium, getting an early pick, and they're just following up after this every time, hard committing. That's that team comms we've been talking about over the past few days. You see a play like this, and you fully send it as you go, and oh, almost there. Kendrick trying to make a play, but nice dodge by the Star-Lord on the iframes, using that dodge tech reload to make sure he doesn't take any damage and keeps alive, but they will have one more touch at this. Will they try to get in here with an ultimate? It will depend, or do they think they can touch without utilizing those strategist ults to touch point is obviously impactful, but it does waste an ult, which is a potential game or fight loser. Mace with a nice pick onto a Madian out of the sky. Really good patience on the aim there.
Yeah, maybe thinking he had the crystals to save him in the backside. Mace as well, trying to get a final blow with his meteor head. Finds Ricky. Don't know if Ricky was invisible there, but Ricky, unfortunately, going down is massive, and Kendrick has been dealing it so far. Cracking impact just to get these final blows here towards the cart. Kendrick, kind of on one at the moment right now. 4 minutes and 40 seconds left. Say, Drake, what does that mean?
Yeah, man, an absolute masterclass. You know, this team is just on a rampage now. The momentum is palpable. You can just feel it as they're running at the opposition. Shikigami on their heels. They've got to get their momentum shift, and they did change up comp, as we'll now see up in the sky a storm on a Madian, and they're still going to keep up virtually everyone else. No change besides the storm. Trying to get someone in the sky to divert focus a little bit. Still keeping this pressure. The card has just not stopped moving this entire time as Luka dives towards the back line. And there's going to be a pick on Ricky, and dig down goes a Madian. Craze and Scatter and Daze, as they are going to be very close to pushing this thing with a very minimal halt on the card at all.
Yeah, this is why I'd be more terrified of Luka on Venom instead of Hulk, right? We see no Hulk ban this time. He's still playing the Venom, right? Luka, with no line of sight to deal with his right click, just got so much damage onto the strategist, and they just got deleted.
Yeah, we are going to have the Galactic Legend ready here for Millennia. Are they going to be able to find some value to make this thing go home? 3 minutes and 25 is a ton of time to defend here. And here comes the all trying to find a pick early on the storm. Nobody in vision yet. There is a change under the Magic now. Magic going to help Pseudo tank the storm. Here comes the tornado. Will it get done? It does take out one as Baser falls, but a Madian going to get traded from Millennia.
Nightmare's backline is so low. I don't know if they're going to totally live. I mean, Mace comes back for the peel. Kraken impact as well. But Kendrick gets removed by Daze on Magic now, which we haven't seen too much of this tournament. They hold on at the moment with 3 minutes left to go. Shikigami.
Yeah, we've been seeing less Magic. Do you think that's a product of just the power of things like Star-Lord now, who are more difficult to handle as Magic? Or do you just think that the changes to her kit, invalidated her in terms of how meta she is now?
Yeah, it definitely feels like across the board, a lot of the characters sort of power crept in terms of patches and stuff, but Magic's still not that bad of a hero, right? I would say maybe, okay, well, Caster Curse, he's going to go down first for a Nightmare.
Yeah, I did also see the new Storm skin. Gotta show a lot of love to that. That thing is awesome. Really dope to see the hammer floating around. And here we go as Luka trying to make a play. We are going to be popping in Viz as the boundaries are out on both sides. Trying to find Storm goes down a Madian. Ricky falls from Mace. Millennia and Mace getting these early picks back and forth non-stop. And we are going to keep progressing. Venom going to pop that ult in defense, trying to get some shield up. Still holding on his Craze Man. He's about at half HP now as that shield will fall. Still putting pressure onto the DPS, and here comes the rain, and no, not able to find value. Millennia gonna keep yes, here comes the return ultimate immediately with Galactic Legend, picks off Daze. Still ahead in numbers now, but it has not stopped yet as they're still holding on. Well done by Shikigami with the staggering to still maintain it, but no, Kendrick gonna push Ricky away from the Invis boundary, and it going to fall and take the point.
Yeah, I don't know if composition-wise, what exactly is happening with Shikigami's side. You know, overall, Nightmare looked really strong at this sort of off-meta Venom composition, which not even really off-meta, it's just another choice, I guess, to go for this, like, die Venom distraction sort of play style. For Shikigami's side, right, they protect the Groot, but unfortunately, they're just getting ran on by Nightmare right now. You know, we see a lot of the really good Groot team, Shib, you know, be able to deal with Nightmare in this dive on Venom, but obviously this is the tough part about, you know, sticking to a meta throughout the whole tournament, even if you can't play it as well as some of the top teams, is you get put in a situation where Shikigami's in now trying to adjust on the fly, as it's been hard to make the Groot work for them thus far.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the lack of final hits, right? It's not a matter of, you know, it's difficult, like you're saying. It's whether each comp can be run more effectively than the other by the other team, but it's also just a matter of momentum. And you could just see Nightmare there for at least the first 2 points, 2.5 points. They did not stop moving the cart. It was not necessarily a stagger fest, but it was definitely a communication issue in those fights. Ultimates being used potentially when not necessary, and that just steamroll just keeps rolling. You know, as these ults are being wasted or not used properly, then you start gaining for the next fight on the side of Nightmare. They have the ult advantage and they win it for free. It's just, you gotta figure it out. You gotta drop back, reset, and ensure everything's being used properly. And if you lose that hope, you lose that faith and the belief that you've got it, it will show and reflect on the stat line.
I mean, it's interesting that they do try to run that Storm. Obviously not against the Hella this time, so Shikigami trying to adapt on the fly still, continue to run this group, make sure it can kind of figure something out here, but Millennia has just been such a nuisance on Star-Lord so far, getting so much value, really timing-wise has been perfect for Nightmare.
Days trying to find an early pull here. Will he be able to do it using that damage boost from Storm? Luca is going to fall early. Days with a nice early pick. Numbers in their favor on attack as Shikigami's trying to turn this right back at him. Here comes another pull on height. You see the Storm owning that space. Well done there to make sure they don't see an early fall and even out the numbers. Keep this pressure forward. They're going to use those group walls. There they are. Keep the team separated from each other, but no, they are going to pressure right through, break those walls down. Shikigami doing a good job taking this space, but here comes the next fight.
Powers of mine. Also, here comes the boundary. Also, the impact from Kendrick onto Kraz before any supports could save that front line. Dinks, unfortunately, a little bit too late, but we'll get rid of Pizza Demon on the backside. Even on both sides, meteors into the sky. Will it connect on top of the Storm coming through on the backside? It's absolute mayhem, and Shikigami take advantage of it as they're looking to finally close out. You still have Millennia on the outside, no ultimate in sight, however, and nobody else here. Shikigami get it done in this brawl fight that just happened.
Here comes the Hurricane as 3 go down. Amadian popping off, showcasing Storm can be strong in the right hands. That damage boost is no joke. Protecting the backline by giving them more power is something to be talked about. We haven't seen a lot of Storm. I think this is actually the first maybe time we've seen Storm in this Invitational, but Storm known to be very strong right now. Obviously strong with Human Torch, but not necessary to make her viable. And they are going to keep using this momentum with 4 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock.
And they gotta watch that dive, immediately procking the E as soon as they come in. Good ultimate committed by Kraz. He's too far forward though, man. Nobody was really ready, but same thing with Luca on the other side. Gonna go down, so it's traded 1-for-1 at the very least. Both Vanguard players sort of feeding in this case, and a wasted ult in terms of Shikigami. And now Kendrick just running down the back line. Ricky's gonna get removed. That's terrible as he was close to an ultimate.
Really well-placed shots there, right? You saw the Vanguards in front, but still Kendrick able to just make sure that Pixel was right around the shoulder as Days falls up, takes out one. Mace is gonna fall early. There goes popped immediately. The invisible boundary to keep everyone up and healthy. Shikigami gonna take it. Oh my goodness, Pizza falls, Luca falls, Kendrick falls, Millennia. So well done by the side of Days and the squad of Shikigami.
These fights are insane, man. Amadian close to that Storm ult, ready to go, but Bazier will be able to match it with the invisible boundary, so we'll see how that plays out. And for Shikigami's side, like you mentioned, Days, great job collapsing with the Kraken impact. Obviously, it's pretty straightforward when there's everybody in such a clumped up space like they were. We'll see if Shikigami can get it done.
Yeah, one more big fight here, potentially, if Shikigami can make it happen, but no. Well done by Kendrick and Luca. Millennia to take out the first 3. Gonna force the reset. Millennia taking out Amadian as well. The team knows at this point it's just reset time. Do not waste time. We start again together, and they are gonna take the spawn and try to make this happen one more time.
3 minutes left to go. Dinks coming up on another Cloak and Dagger ultimate. The next fight, Millennia obviously has been able to do a lot once the Meteor M is not in play. We'll see if he can get something done with Luca on a potential one-shot dive with the blasters and right-click from him.
Yeah, Kendrick trying to get that early pick. Oh my goodness, that is insanity. Terrifying to see as the team does follow up. Luca immediately onto the back line as soon as he sees that pick happen. Not able to get more, but it doesn't matter. That will force the respawn and wait. And down goes Amadian to stagger for a little bit more time.
It's been brutal for Kraz so far in the group. You know, hasn't really been able to deal with Kendrick on those hooks. I mean, just perfectly timing it. Every single instance for Shikigami. They have to come back in now after, unfortunately, a few seconds have been lost in terms of the timing.
Yeah, here comes another fight. That is just a scary thing to see above your head when you push through those hallways. It's a tough angle, but they do take out Luca early as Dinks with a nice blind there, allowing us to get that pick, and they're going to try to play off that, and immediately Millennia pops off. Will they have a counter? Yes, they did switch over to the cloak, as we had talked about earlier, whether cloak might be more viable post changes, and immediately going to use Invis to take that back and try to hold. The dunk does not connect! But it doesn't matter, as it is followed up on Mason with a great job there. Kendrick taking out Craze. Amadian falls, Scatter falls, Daze falls, and once again, back to the spawn like nothing has changed.
And Kendrick is so good at this character at Winter Soldier, right? Knew where that Cloak and Dagger was going to end up, hooked them, pushed them away from their own ultimate to get the final blow alongside their support, Bazer, pulling him forward. So that was just great coordination, and Kendrick's again looking for a hook.
Yeah, kind of a demon. I would be terrified in the front line. Those pulls at max range around a corner, throwing you into some trees. Groot, obviously no stranger to trees, hates those trees though, as he does get picked immediately. Here we go for potentially one of the last fights of this game, if they're unable to do so. But you will see that the ult advantage is in the side of Shikigami like crazy. They need to make something happen right now as Storm hits the skies. Here comes the Hurricane. Where does it land? Immediately going to counteract here, holding on. Bazer got that ult just in time to keep the team up. And armed and dangerous on the entire team, but the Crystal's keeping the team up. He's gonna follow up, trying to get a pick, and yes, does take out Bazer, beats it even down, no strategist left.
Yeah, but they delayed this part. I mean, even if they lose this fight, Luca does get dinks on the delay. Shikigami coming back, but they'll be able to have Luca, at least for the next fight, be able to come back because he's on Venom. So this might be a weird spot now for Shikigami. Sure, they win that fight, but look how many ults they committed. They committed 5 just to win there, whereas Nightmare only committed about 1 or 2.
Yeah, Craze right now has got to start putting up these walls. This is where you start owning. He's going to wait a little bit until they get close. This is where you try to drive a little bit of time loss, right? You wait till they get close. You don't waste your walls just yet because you don't know where they're trying from. As you can see now, they're taking the height. Try to wall up and buy time. Will it happen? No. Going to wait a little bit, drop back to the team, forced to use those in more of an offensive manner. It can absolutely work. There goes the ball, too. Oh, my goodness, as Kendrick immediately drops a Madian. Here comes the ultimate. Not able to land, though. At least not a pick yet.
I mean, gets the touch onto a member of Shikigami. It's traded 1 for 1. Kendrick looking for a little bit more. No ultimate for Shikigami's side. Pizza with the copy. They've got the boundary. Also overtime ticking down. So they have so much presence here. Can the strategist, the Shikigami, keep everybody healthy without going down? Dinks is going to fall. Ricky's boundary a little bit too late. Luca looking for that back line. At least has that abyss ready to go for this fight. Just get more damage on the Crad. Does get back to the boundary, but there might be too much damage now for Mulaney and Nightmare, who have grouped around this payload and just get the final blows on Shikigami if they try to touch. Unfortunately, will not be able to do it any longer in the Streets phase and will win the series.
Yeah, well done by Nightmare. That touch was everything. Obviously, they knew not to head down a group path that would be difficult for them to get through. In those moments, find them enough time. They immediately took height. And that's just that thought process at another level, right? We may not be seeing that. You may not be seeing that in your own ladder games. You may not understand why, but everyone seems to get walled off by Groot. Oh, Groot is OP. They just took the high ground. It didn't matter if Groot was trying to wall them off. It wouldn't have affected them at all. And immediately got back into that fight, got their ults during the round or during that battle, and just utilized them knowing it was the final fight. And it was a great retake here by Nightmare.
Yep, just absolute perfection. Cloak and Dagger, unfortunately for Dinks, just got countered every time by Kendrick of all people. You know, it's just it was hard for them on the strategist to really get things going on Cloak and Dagger. You know, we talk about how that hero can work, but maybe we've seen why Loki has played a lot more on the other side, right, to potentially deal with it. But man, Kendrick, just shout out to him, man. I mean, just so consistent so far. Was one of the best hooking individuals so far of the tournament is the best way to phrase it. I mean, he just has so good of hooks, just perfectly timed it every time. You know, we see a lot of really good Winter Soldier players, Chib, but I think Kendrick has the title for the #1 hooking man.
Oh, yeah, I could see it. I mean, and not even to mention that, but real quick, we got to throw some love. Millennia, 35k damage, 10k more than almost everyone besides